Social networking is corrupting our young generation. Recently, I walked into a room full of young people, about 20 of them. I said hello. About half of them looked up, said hi, and looked back down at their phones or whatever else they were doing. They were so engaged, so distracted by their phones and mobile devices that they couldn't even sit there and have a conversation. In the end, there was only one person who sat there and engaged in a conversation with me. Instead of sitting together and chatting and having a good time, they're so consumed with their gaming devices or their phones or their social media that they can't even have a good time together. My speech is about social media and networking and it corrupting our young people. As stated in the American Academy of Children and Adolescent Pediatrics, over 60% of 13 to 17-year-olds have at least one profile on social networking sites, many spending more than 2 hours per day on social networking sites. And of course, there can be benefits and there can be risk. Benefits could be staying connected with friends, connecting with new people with similar likes, developing and expressing identities. Those are all benefits, but there are also many risks. For example, bullying or cyberbullying, being exposed to inappropriate or things they don't need to see at such a young age, as well as sharing too much information, vulnerability to predatory adults, sharing photos or videos that they later regret, reduced time for physical activities, among many, many other things that are risks. There are many risks, and cyberbullying is one of them. Kids say things that they would never say in person and can demean people to such a state that depression or complexes, even suicide can happen. I've heard of many stories of young people who come into these complexes because of what people said about them, either online or in person. Also, being exposed to things at a not appropriate age. As stated on sharedhope.com, 25% of children get away with pretending to be older than they are on an online account. This leads to all kinds of negative things. For example, pornography, or dating sites, or gambling online at a young age. All these things are they can be detrimental to a young person, and they're able to do it because of these social networking. There is a reason set for these age limits, and of course we should follow them. Also, is sharing too much information. Young people, they give way too much information to people they don't even know. Credit card numbers, social security numbers, whatever it might be. And this raises the risk of identity theft, which is very, very common in this day and age. People aren't afraid to commit crimes like that. Also, it's so accessible by so many people around the world. Also, vulnerability to predatory adults. Kids put way too much information online about where they're going, their parents being gone, parties they'll be at. This creates things, for example, abductions, rapes, also, and many, many other things that are very harmful to kids and young people. Also, they share photos and videos that they later regret. In the moment, they think it is a fun or a playful thing, but it can go viral. Underage sex could be a result of these things. Also sexting, where they send inappropriate pictures back and forth at a very young age. It also can lead to underage sex. Who wants to promote that at such a young age? One other thing, and perhaps the most disencouraging, if you will, is reduced amount for time for physical activity. Kids just simply want to play video games or be online or be on Facebook or Twitter, whatever it is, instead of going out and being active. Wall Street Journal states, social networking, video gaming, and other technologies may be drawing children away from sports. As many as 140 kids used to try out for 45 spots on a baseball team in a school in Kansas. Today, fewer than 45 kids try out, says George Salas, the school's athletic director. Kids are more trained to sit at home and play video games, he says. Sports don't intrigue them. The main reason kids fall away from youth sports is that the sport isn't fun to the child, he writes. This is crazy. When you think about when we were kids, what we did, playing sports at school, also being active outside, building forts, etc., etc. However, there are some potential benefits that come from these media and social interactions online. For example, staying connected to friends. This is super positive. It's very healthy for them to stay connected, to talk to each other, to see pictures of each other. For example, I was on a youth exchange program in Europe with young people from all over Europe and South America, North America, and I hardly ever have time to see them or to talk to them. So, Instagram, for example, or Facebook is a good way to keep connected and see what's going on in their life. Also, it can be a good way for children and young people to connect with people with similar likes and stuff like that. For example, sports clubs, art clubs, singing clubs, all kinds of clubs that they can be a part of and get to know other people with the same likes. So that's a very positive thing. Also, developing and expressing your individual identity. And this can be positive or negative. In a positive manner, it can help people come out of a slump and be themselves in a good and healthy way. But it can also help people hide behind their identity that they've created online, which is very negative. We want people to be themselves and be able to act like themselves around people all the time. So, when you look at it, there's many more risks to these social networking and media sites and different things. Our children and young people are being so engulfed and engaged in their social media and networking that things in life that are supposed to be enjoyed aren't being enjoyed because they're so caught up in their phones, their video games, their social media, their Instagram, their Facebook. So there are far too many people, kids and young people in general, being addicted to these social media and networking. It creates bad and unhealthy environments for both them and the ones around them. When I was a kid, the cool thing was to build forts, to play at the river, to go outside and play football with each other, or ride our bikes. Nowadays, the popular thing is who has the most friends or the most followers on Facebook and Instagram, or who can create the best farm on Farmville. These things are corrupting our young people and creating an unhealthy environment. We're trying to raise a group of young people, not zombies. And therefore, it is everybody's responsibility, first and foremost the parents, but also us as society, to teach our young people how to act and how to be appropriate in society.